Welcome back to Smiley's Garage. It's been a while. Lots of stuff has happened. COVID and other things. But in this episode, I turn a complete running motorcycle into a shelf full of parts. Yeah. Eventually that's gonna have to go back together, and I'm scared. This video is mostly going to be time lapses. I took this footage months and months ago, and a lot of it is me struggling to get parts off. I've taken the carbs on and off this thing half a dozen times, so those were easy. But a lot of the other stuff was the first time I've tried taking it off of anything, let alone this motorcycle. A lot of the bolts were rusty, a lot of things were seized. The exhaust, for one, was basically split. I think there's some sort of cross connector that connects the exhaust pipes, almost like an H-pipe. That was all messed up. So I'm just going to narrate the big parts and what I'm struggling with throughout this, and I'll just cut in and out of the music as it goes. Another thing I'm worried about is getting it back together. I might just have to watch all these clips in reverse, especially the wiring harness, how it's routed. You have to put some parts on and then snake the harness through, and other parts you have to put the harness on first. That's going to take some trial and error, and I'm sure it's going to make a great time lapse of me doing the same thing 3 and 4 times and trying to figure it out as I go. I haven't checked the service manual, but I'm sure it might outline how everything gets routed. Another thing I have to do in the future is actually go through that harness wire by wire, make sure nothing's pinched or broken, and maybe even replace some of the connectors on it, because they do look pretty crappy. Well, some of them do. If anything, I'll just clean it and replace it. Rather, replace the broken connectors with new connectors. Now I'm trying to be safe. I'm strapping it to my lift because it, the bottom of the engine isn't exactly flat. So the rear tire, I knew how to do that. Rip that guy off pretty easy. Back at it with the teardown. I started cleaning and organizing and getting everything into boxes. And then I just started going to town. So the only thing you really missed is me taking off the front wheel and the front fender. Going after the forks right now. I'm going to have those rebuilt professionally because I hear it's a complete pain in the butt. And then I'm going to have to figure out what to do with this chain guard, because it's a complete enclosed system full of old oil and nasty crap, and I have no idea what I'm going to do. But I'll figure it out. This I had a big problem with too. That, I don't know what you call it, chain guard. For the life of me, I couldn't get those. I couldn't pull it back. I couldn't compress that accordion. I wasn't really sure the best way to do it, so I ended up taking that cover off and breaking the chain through that. I just skipped through all that because, again, I just didn't feel like watching me struggle with breaking a chain was very interesting. Yeah, see that exhaust pipe right there? It's still not out, and I don't know the right way to do it. So you tell me you gotta drop the engine out of the frame to get the exhaust out? That's just... It's weird, man. It's weird. Alright. I'm in it now. Surprisingly easy to disassemble after you take the chain off. And screw that exhaust pipe. I'm going complete dual exhaust. Because I don't feel like disconnecting the entire motor from the body just to do the exhaust. Alright, well, now comes the part of cleaning and organizing, taking inventory, getting everything repaired, going over the shock. But I think I'm just going to start with the engine. Get it clean, get it stripped down, get it prepped for paint, paint it, and then paint everything else. The body's going to be difficult too. It's got a lot of nooks and crannies, and it's got a lot of these welded little airlines that I'm not sure if I can get behind or not. I don't know if I can get them sandblasted either, so I might just do a cleanup as best I can, and then just do spot treatments on the rust. Sand it down, get a nice hard epoxy paint. I'm also going to have to preserve the VIN number somehow, but I'll figure that out as I go. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I made a complete mess of myself and the garage, and we'll see what happens in the next one. Thanks for watching.